welcome, Lee here from Play Guitar Academy. Today I'm taking all of you who love the original video, the Easy Blues Guitar Licks for Beginners. I'm going to take you to the next step. This time you're going to learn to play easy basic licks over a 12-bar blues, and all while understanding why these licks work. And I've done it all in the style of Eric Clapton, so you won't sound like a beginner when you're done with the video. But before we get started, to get the most out of these licks, we need to open up the entire fretboard and stop just playing in one area of the guitar. So take a second to click the link in the description, download my free Big 4 scale pattern worksheet, and you can start feeling comfortable playing all over the fretboard. Okay, let's get started with the licks. Today I'm playing blues in the key of A, and I'm using the A minor pentatonic scale. And I'll be playing through my Boss IR200. It's on the twin reverb setting, and I'm using a York Audio Deluxe Reverb Impulse Response. Lick number 1, we are doing a pickup to the blues. You notice that the second measure has an A7 on it. That's the beginning here. This happens a few beats before the 12-bar blues gets started. It's a little pickup there. And we're using pattern 1 of the A minor pentatonic. We're gonna start on the 5th. This is gonna be the 5th fret on the B string. And then we're gonna bend back up to that note again right after that. So we're gonna use the D note. That is on the 7th fret of the G string. And then we're gonna come back to that E note again. So the first 3 notes, really 3 of the same notes. 2 of them are normal and 1 of them is bent up there. Now we're gonna go way up to the C up high. That's the minor 3rd. And then back to the 5th. And this is all around the root. We haven't hit the root note yet. We're gonna hit it right now. And how we do that is we're going to take the 8th fret on the B string, and that is our G note. That's a whole step behind our root note, which is A, and bend it up that whole step. And that note right there, the 8 bending up to the root, happens right on the first beat of the 12-bar blues. In lick number 2, we're going to be doing a double stop, a sliding double stop here. Now this is over our quick 4 chord. So in 12-bar blues, sometimes the first 4 measures is just the 1 chord. But in slow blues, a lot of the time, you'll have the 1 chord for just 1 measure, and then we go to a quick 4 chord in measure 2. That's what we do here in this one. But if you notice, we don't play on beat 1. These double stops start on beat number 2. So it'll be 1. And how we're doing that is we're going to take our 2nd finger and put it on the G string at the 5th fret. And then we're going to put our 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the high E string. And we're going to slide both of them up, but we're only playing the G string first. So you play that note, slide them all up to the 2nd fret, then you hit the high E string. And we do that 3 times. And then finally we come back from the 7th fret to the 5th fret with this double stop here. Now let's check the notes out in this one. Our first 2 notes, the first one is a C, and that's the flat 7 on a D 7th chord, and then A, which is the 5th. When we slide this up to those 7s, our flat 7 becomes the root, so that's an easy one right there. But this high note here, the B, that's the 13th. Of that chord. So we're effectively going from a 9th voicing to a 13th voicing and back. This is something that you'll hear in Stormy Monday, a lot of different blues songs that use double stops. Lick number 3, there are 2 things that are very important in this lick that I want to show you. The first is we're going to be using some sequences. That means we're going to take an idea and use it as we go along the scale pattern. Here's what I mean. If you take a look at our first note, this is our A, this is the key note, this is our tonic note, and we're going to be going down the A minor pentatonic scale, but we're not going to go in order. We're going to be jumping notes, every other note. So we're going to start with the A. Instead of playing the G, we're going to skip that and go to the next note in the minor pentatonic scale. That's the 5th fret of the B string. That's our E. A goes to E. Now we're going to take the same idea, but this time we're not going to start on the A. We're going to start on one note down. This is our G note, right? So we're going to go G, we'll skip to E and go to our D. And now we'll do the same thing, this time starting on the E note. So we're going to E, skip to D, go to the C. And then this time we're going to go up to the D note, but we're going to end this from underneath and go slide up into the root. So we're going to go down to a G note, flat 7th, and slide up into the A note. But the other thing I want to bring attention to is if you see, there's a lot of little dots on top of these notes in the standard notation. That means they're played staccato quick. You don't let them ring out. They're pop, 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 pop. And this is something that you hear Eric Clapton doing all of the time. And he always gets a really clean sound when he does this. So you can hear the strings smacking off of the fretboard. Very cool lick. So on lick number 4, we're on the D7 chord now. And we're going to use some of Eric Clapton's repetitive ideas. We're going to imitate that in our licks here as well too. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump up. We're going to jump up to pattern 4. Pattern 4 up at the 12th fret. Here, we're going to start on the G note. That's the 15th fret. And we're going to do a hammer-on and pull-off between the 12th and 15th fret from E and G. And then you play it normally. Then you do the hammer-on and pull-off. 12, 15, 12. And then we end the little phrase with the 15 on the B string. That's the D. That's the root note of the chord that's playing at the time. Very strong note. We do that 3 times, and the last time we let that D ring, and then we're going to move right back into, with the next lick, back to the A7. So on lick number 5, we're going to use a little train-sounding double stop here. We ended on the D note at the 15th fret on the B string, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with that note, but we're going to bend it up a full step from D to E, right? So from the 4th going up into 5th, which is a very strong note for the A7th chord. And then we're going to play the G note, the flat 7th, right after it. We do that 4 times. So the B string bends, and then the pinky comes over onto the 15th fret of the high E string and just plucks that. I'm using a hybrid approach where I'm picking the lower note, but I'm pulling with my middle finger on my picking hand. And then finally, we're going to end up on the 15th fret on the high E string with the full step bend. Now on lick number 6, this is a very Clapton-y lick here too. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the low string right on 1, the open E string. This is an E7 chord. This is the 5 chord that comes in. This is the chord that makes you want to go back to the beginning, back to 1. And then we're going to bend up the 10th fret a full step. Now, why is that important? Well, the 10th fret, that's our A. That's the tonic note for the whole deal. But when we bend that up a whole step, what do we get? A B note. Well, the B note, you hear that a lot. Stevie Ray Vaughan, you think every time a 5 chord comes around, they use a B note. That's the 5th of the chord, but it's also, if you play a 9th chord, the E9, it's the top note of that voicing of that James Brown chord. So we're going to take that A at the 10th fret up twice. So those are both going up to the B to outline that 5 chord, and then we do it again. Finally ending on the E note on the G string at the 9th fret to outline our chord perfectly. Now on lick number 7, we're working our way back to the 5th fret position. This way we can take our pattern number 1. The D7 comes in on the first beat, but on the second beat is where we start playing. We're going to play our highest note, the 8th fret, that's our C, and bend that up a full step, C to D. we're going from the flat 7 to the root of the chord that's being played. And then we go back down the minor pentatonic scale, 8 to 5. And now we're going to do another double stop here. This is our regular G string, B string double stop that's in pattern 2. We slide from pattern 1 to pattern 2, 9th fret on the G string with the 2nd finger, and then 8th fret on the B string. We do that 3 times. End it with the 5th fret on the G string, that's our minor 3rd, and then going to the root note of the A chord that's just about to come up. That's the 7th fret of the D string. In lick number 8, we're in pattern 1, and we're going to do one of the most common pattern 1 blues licks ever. Everyone does this lick. You should know this lick. So let's take a look. We're going to bend 7th fret on the G string. Bend that. That's a D note bending up to an E, so we're bending up into a strong note. Then we play that note we were bending up to right after it. This time it's on the 5th fret of the B string. Then we're going to go straight from that 5th fret to the next 5th fret on the high E string. That's our A note. That's the strong note here. And we'll go up to the highest note in this pattern, which is the 8th fret, the C, minor 3rd, and then back to the root again. Lick number 9, this is our last lick. This is where the turnaround happens. And we're going to start this off with a bend at the 10th fret on the high E string. That's a D going up to E. So we have the 10 that bends, and then we hit it again while it's up there. And we do it again. So that's D going to E. Now we'll finish this whole thing out. We're in our pattern 2 area here. And now we've bent those notes, we're going to use a triplet. With the E note, 9th fret. So I'm going to put my 2nd finger on the G string at the 9th fret. We're going to play that 3 times in a triplet. 1, 2, 3. And then finally, we're going to finish this off with the 8th fret. That's our G note. And then the 10th fret on the B string, which is our A note. Thanks for playing along today, making it all the way to the end. I'm having a great time making these lick videos for you. And thanks to all of our Academy members over at playguitaracademy.com for tearing into the tab and guitar profiles from this lesson right now. Don't forget to download my Big 4 scale pattern worksheet. It's going to make all of this easier for you. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great practice. I'll see you in the next lick video.